making our Christmas memories. I've been working so much lately, I can barely find the time to sleep. Yeah, I spend my time running around, keeping people pleased. But this is my favorite holiday. It's a chance to start over new. Cause I missed you, so I'm letting go of everything but you. These are the good times with you. Baby, this year it's just gonna be you and me. Hang by the fire and chill. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh, and I've been longing to hold you close. Forget about everyone else. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh, oh, la da da da, oh, oh, la da da da, oh, oh, la da da da. Making our Christmas memories. I've been wrapping presents for you. I've been hanging marbles in the tree, and I've lit my house with Christmas lights. So you should come back home to me. And when we wake up in the morning, I'm gonna play those carols that you love. We'll be singing all the melodies until the sun comes up. These are the good times with you. Baby, this year it's just gonna be you and me. Hang by the fire and chill. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh, and I've been longing to hold you close. Forget about everyone else. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh, oh, la da da da, oh, 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 la da da da. Making our Christmas memories. Yeah, see, it's like
Welcome to another warm-up show with Hockey Coach Joe, Coach Francis, directly for the beautiful country of Thailand. We have to find a co-host directly from Toronto downtown, Mr. ENORTAP. Welcome back in the house tonight.
Happy Friday, Coach, and happy Friday to all of our Hockey Nation family.
Another week going to complete tonight. And before we start the next one, where it's going to be the last of the holidays, honestly, and we're going to see a lot of game happening last night. We're going to talk about a lot of subject. We can talk about this, and then we have, of course, a couple of news around the league. We're going to talk tonight at the Hockey Nation show, the warm-up show. We'll be back tonight, 9:00 p.m. For the special, of course, the HNLT tonight show. We're going to have a special guest with us tonight. I know in Natal you're going to be a part of the panel, and we're going to talk about something around the league, and of course the Montreal Canadiens, what's going on over there. So last subject to talk about tonight. Only 3 games on the program tonight, Mr. Tap, and then we have the boss, and we have of course the jail today, Mr. Tap.
No jail tonight.
No jail for the game tonight, but jail for last night.
Yeah. Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Last night we had 12 games, so a lot of surprises.
Another night, a surprise, a shocking game again. Only Peter August, unbelievable. Peter August, since he joined the prediction,
I know.
dominate completely. I don't know what kind of the formula he used, of course, is not the octopussy of the Mr. Yamo, but he has something we don't know yet, Mr. Nata, because he's on fire most of the night.
I don't know.
So
we're gonna have to send DeWitt and Laureate to him.
Definitely about that one. There we have a few people pop up, Mr. Nata. We're going to welcome them. First of all, Melissa Zabran, directly from Florida.
Hi, Melissa.
We have King of Gamer. Good night last night, Mr. King. Great performance, 8-4.
Hey, Justin. Welcome.
From Halifax, family of the Bengal. We call him the Rick. Rick had a good night last night. Of course, thanks to be Rick with us. I'm sure he's going to watch in the Laval Rocket tonight.
He always gives us great information about Laval.
You're hanging there, like the team is hanging there with a straight W. I'm talking about the deal or no deal, but we have the real deal. I'm talking about the Buffalo Sabres. Fans number one, they're doing very well. The Buffalo surprised again yesterday. Another W on the road. Again, the Colorado Avalanche. So they are looking really good over there. Jarmo Virtanen from Finland is in the house. Mr. ENORTAP.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, Jarmo.
Our friend Ryan Kirk, he is with us tonight. Ryan, thanks to be with the Hockey Nation Live show or the warm-up show tonight.
Welcome, Ryan. Welcome.
Here we go from Ottawa. Back in the house, Mr. Vinny James 007.
Vinny! Welcome aboard.
Thanks so much to be with us. Ronwood King, good afternoon from Utah. Number one fans of the Los Angeles Kings. Again, the Kings surprised the Boston Bruins and the team to talk about what's going on over there. But they found a way to get a shootout. Really excited. We finished this game live last night after Montreal Canadiens. I think they've been to 6-7 attempts, Mr. ENORTAP, last night to conclude the final of the score. Final score 4-3. Los Angeles surprised the Boston Bruins. They still not lose at the regular time at home, but now they are 14-0-2, 15-0-2. For what I can remember, that one over there. And then we have.
You saw who scored, right, Coach?
I'm sorry.
You saw who scored the winning shootout goal for LA.
I know
the guy that just signed the contract.
Yeah, we'll talk about him the next couple of minutes because I have a couple of things to talk about him, Mr. ENORTAP. Another player like Toronto let him go.
I think so. Yeah, he was with Toronto for a while. Yeah,
he got traded for who?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. Do you know?
Oh yeah. Jack Campbell and Carl Clifford.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, both of them we came, but they was in return with two third-round pick with Trevor Moore. And at the beginning, you can see we thought the Toronto is going to win it. That trade by long term looked like now, like the Los Angeles is going to get that one. The two trip was not very good. When I'm talking about like the two pick they selected, they never been a good hockey player, but in NHL. But at long term right now, take advantage of that. So he was undrafted player, by the way. So I'm going to talk about him. I have a news about him the next couple of minutes, Mr. ENORTAP. So
sounds good.
The Octopus used to pick my score, but after a bad day, no more from Yamo. So that's about this. He put like he did out. I took Buffalo with Flowers last night. I have a gut feeling Carter Hart will have a strong performance last night. Good for you, King. I'm too chicken. I play with the
They're lucky.
I pay the price all the time.
Lucky.
Honestly, I gave away the game against the Rangers. When I said that, if Marner was not on the straight, I would not take Toronto. Because I knew at some point, you need to hit the wall at some level. So I still believe like Marner maybe carry on the team one more time and you see what it looked like and pushing there. But that would be only the game. The rest of all my game, I feel like I was comfortable about my picks. Montreal and then the Ducks, the Flyers, the Devils. If you think about this, you can say, "Oh, I'm wrong with that part over there." So. That's my feeling about this. But look, we have a couple of things happening. New York team go all their way. Now the Rangers, the Devil for Yamo. Like we do at the beginning of the show, Mr. ENORTAP, we have 10 minutes already. So let's talking about what paid you attention last night between the 12 game on the program.
Well, quite a few from those games that we saw yesterday. Let's start with I guess, the Toronto Maple Leaf and the Ranger game. Um, part of my reason for taking the Rangers last night was number one, yes, every streak obviously at some point comes to an end. And I thought, the Rangers really had been playing some very good hockey as of late. And, anytime you have Shesterkin in net, I think they also wanted to send a message that they can. It was a litmus test for them to make sure that they can play with the Leafs, and they indeed did do that. I was very I was very surprised with the ease with which they were keeping the players out of the middle of the ice. So Shesterkin, he would get that periphery shot a lot of times, but nobody there to get a rebound or to create some kind of chaos in front of the net. And when you do that, you're not going to beat them very often. So that was really what stood in my mind. Of course, the Anaheim Montreal game. I mean, not much to say there. They didn't come to play Montreal, and even given that, they still had an opportunity to pull it out of at the end, but the two empty net goals, the mistakes they made, you can tell that they've hit a point now. The interesting thing will be they've lost now 2 in a row. And they really, like I said, they really haven't had any moments this year where they've lost 3 in a row. There was one time, but it was an overtime game. They still picked up a point. And that's sort of been their trademark. Now, it'll be interesting to see how they react to these 2 games because, let's face it, they were against teams that they should have beaten by all rights. And if you look at their next, I was looking at it just the other day, their next 19-20 games that are in the rest of December and into January, I looked at it and I said, okay, where can we get a victory here? And I went through the list and I pinpointed maybe 3 or 4. And, and I wasn't being negative towards that. I honestly think it's going to be very tough. And then that leads into eventually the trade deadline time. So we could see quite a drop in our positioning. Doesn't necessarily mean that the wheels have come off, the cart here. It just means it's part of the process of what they need to do in order to develop and get the acquisitions that they need at the right time. And I just hope people don't turn it into a bigger thing than it is, because it's exactly just that. The other thing that stood out yesterday, Coach, I stayed up late to watch the Edmonton game. They had this game 3-2 with 20 seconds, I think it was. They allowed St. Louis to tie the score on a mistake, I think, by Nurse.
Second of the night.
The puck at the time. The second, exactly. And then we had a great overtime. Like, these 2 teams went right at it from the drop of the first puck right till that Draisaitl goal was scored. And of course, half of the team had gone to the change room after that, thinking Edmonton had won. Toronto calls in, says it's an offside situation. I think these are things. I agree 100% with the comments that McDavid made afterwards in the game, that there are rules that need to be closely scrutinized. And he named off a few things: goaltender interference, offsides. There were a couple of contact with the foot and the puck goes in. He said there's about 2 or 3 rules that need to be a little bit greater defined, and there shouldn't be this much either subjectivity involved or controversy involved in these things. You can tell that they were disappointed that they didn't get that extra point. St. Louis, you got to give them credit. They came out and and stole 2 points, and that's good on them because they were in a must-win situation. And then the final one in my eyes that really stood out was the Colorado Buffalo game. I thought Buffalo really played extremely well the first period and a half, and they built up that 4-0 lead. 3-0 lead, and then the third period was all Colorado. They outshot Buffalo 17-1, and the one shot that they did that Buffalo had was the empty net goal that was scored at the end. But that could have easily gone to overtime as well. So great effort by both teams in that case, and an exciting game.
Yeah, absolutely. About this, we have a few people in the house. Double J for Toronto is in the house. Thanks so much. William McClary joined us tonight. Thanks so much, everybody, to be with us. Don't forget to click on the like. That'd be awesome. Back
Welcome,
again
guys.
on this call or review. Is it a good goal or is it a bad goal? Or is it offside or is it a goal?
Yeah, I heard quite a few interpretations today, and I hadn't realized that they had tweaked the rule a little bit from last year since the Makar incident in the playoffs. Even though that was a totally different kind of situation, I know it appears like, oh yeah, they're both offsides, but the circumstances around them were quite different. In this case here, like when I looked at the, I think it's Rule 83, Section 2, they talk about control. And in this case, even though clearly his skates were over the blue line and the puck was behind the blue line, he did have possession. Now, O'Reilly, when he sort of swung his stick, caused them not to carry the puck across. But McDavid was extremely intelligent in that he had his eye on the puck, and he then started to use his foot to bring it together. So to me, that still constitutes possession. And so I would say that trumps the offside. But, I'm not a referee. I defer to, obviously, people that
That's
are
the fun
in that
between
profession.
That's the fun between Makar and McDavid, the play. Makar was a good call because he was not touching the puck when he carried the puck, right? He let the puck go in first
Right.
before he touched. On that time, the stick of the stick O'Reilly moved the puck out of the blade of the stick of McDavid. So the reason the O'Reilly touched the stick, that's why he loses his control. And that's the difference between where I believe it's a good, it's not a good call because he carried on the puck with, and the reason he loses the puck is because he hit the stick of O'Reilly compared to Makar.
Right.
So I think for me that would be should be a good call about this. So for on that point, like I said, for me it's not about because the rule is about controlling the puck. If you control the puck, no problem. And he was controlling the puck until he hit the stick of the O'Reilly.
Yeah, you know what, Coach? I've really thought about this, and there are ways around this rule. I think part of it, if you think of basketball, for example, when a player is driving to the hoop, and he's in the process of going up to the hoop to make a layup or take a shot, and he gets hit on the arm, obviously it's a foul. But there's the continuation rule. So even though you earn that foul, if the ball still goes through and that happens after the incident, the basket counts and you still get an extra shot. So I'm thinking, why can't something like that be adopted in the NHL? Like, if you're coming across and you're not 100, if you really think it's a subjective call, like allow the play to play out once, right? It goes through, and if they score on it, then obviously it's a minor thing we're looking at here. It should count, and if they don't or start recycling the puck, then obviously that's not part of it. But I don't know exactly how to tweak it, but something of that nature would definitely go a long way in helping players understand the rule a little bit better.
Yep, we have a few people in the house because William said McDavid was outside because of Raleigh. Welcome back, Marco Larabi. Thanks to be with us. Runs a position and control
Marco.
are two different things.
Exactly. And that's where the subjectivity comes in, right?
So what is the possession and what's the control?
The control is possession is when you actually have the puck. The control, I thought McDavid still had control of the puck, even though it wasn't with his stick. He started to bring his foot towards the puck. It never touched O'Reilly, so there was no break in the moment of possession. So I think he was still in control. That's why I think it shouldn't have been an offside. But like I said, it's very subjective and depends on how you read the rule, how you define possession and control. And that's why I think something has to be done to tweak this a little bit so that there isn't this much of a dispute going on. Like this, okay, this cost them a point, but it could have been, the Stanley Cup final, Game 7.
Yep. But that's very important. That's why they make the review, everything like that. So that's something good. King of Gamer talk about the Kirby Doc extra 2 minutes. King, but it was an accumulation of the call, not only on that, on only that. So if you recall it, he got a 2 minute at the beginning of the second period, and then he was upset after the goal of the opponent team, and then the Ottawa Senators. So he screamed to the ref, and then on the ice, we did not get a call against him. He was screaming again to the ref. And then when you go through the penalty box, he told him exactly what you just said on your comments. And then he slammed the door. So the slam the door commit the referee. So that's enough now. So the referee took about 3 times. He gave him like we call this the baseball rules. We give you 1 strike. We'll give you another strike. But if you hit the 3rd strike, and I'm going to put you down now. So that's the reason about this for that. I hate that rules me as a coach. What you talk about? I always said to the ref, and I thought before the game start, I would call the ref, say, look, guys, I said, I have 20 butt head players in front of me, right? They are butt head. They're all thinking about themselves. And somehow, I cannot control it. They're going to tell you something bad, whatever it is. Good call, bad call, right? I understand that. I know you do a great job. So can you give me a favor? When you see one of my players tell you something, don't penalize me. Don't penalize the rest of my team. Give them a 10-minute. That would be perfectly great with me. And it was said yes. So I was trying to protect my team to not get a penalty against a bad head I have in front of me and to stupid action against the ref. It works perfectly all the time with me. And that's what I was saying. And NHL, skip the 2 minutes. Don't penalize someone for a bad behavior, but give him a 10-minute, and that's it. That's all. So that would be something I would say to the ref. But he takes a lot in NHL before you give them a 2 minute. It's rare. If you think about this, you have not many times you gave them a 2 minute for unsportsmanlike.
That's right. Yeah. You have to catch him at a bad time. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely about this. Actually, I would agree that the control position is the same thing, Marco. That's what I thought too. Me too.
No. No. The control was broken in this case because
no. What is different between the possession and the control? Not about that play. What is different between the possession and the control? Does it make sense?
Yeah. I get it. I mean,
so if you are in possession of the puck, it's because you are in control of the puck.
True. I
right.
Can see that.
So that's what one I would let to explain you what you said. But now you're right when you said, he was in control because until they hit the stick, that's the what happening, the fact of that. But like Marco said, you are in possession of the puck. It's because you are in control of the puck. So you're really controlling of the puck.
Right.
All right. So now some people say you're in possession of the puck. Maybe you're not in control. But you're not in possession of the puck if you're not in control. Now you can push the puck in front of you, right? But you're not in possession of the puck because the time the 0.8 or
Exactly.
1.2, you don't touch the puck like McCall last season. That's the difference between that part of there. So that would be the
Yeah.
best
Yeah.
explanation about this. Nothing
Yeah. Good
wrong.
point.
Yeah, exactly about that. Runs already was able to come in and zip at the plate, meaning McDavid did not have control of the puck or situation. No run.
No, he didn't have possession. He
He
didn't have
has a,
possession.
you said two things in your comments, Ron. You said he came able to come in and disrupt the play. Meaning McDavid did not have control. Yes, no, that's reverse. He have the control
Yeah.
and Raleigh, he completely uh, pushed the stick of the McDavid. Now, if he was not in control, Mr. Nortap, he's going to lose the puck by himself, or he was not in control
Right.
about the puck.
Exactly. But he still was able to get his skate on it
Yeah.
and kick it right back to his stick because he did get it right back before he gave that pass to Draisaitl.
but Mr. Nortap, when I do the video, it's McDavid. It's not Ren Reeves right now. We talk about one of the best player in
Yeah.
the NHL game. So you start
One
thinking
of the
he has it.
best.
Yeah, no, has it. Wait a minute, it's Connor McDavid. So everything he touch, everything he
Yeah,
do,
exactly.
you know what I mean? Like I don't know. That would be my first thing. I was my
It,
101
yeah,
on that one.
you're absolutely right. And the same thing last year with Makar. It was a very intelligent way that he sort of came across at the point with the puck. He knew the rule and he knew how to work it to his favor.
Yeah, I'm sorry about this. Marco said it's like one coach gave me a 10-minute penalty on the app Brown, so it works about that one there. Pierre Martin is in the house. Welcome aboard. Thanks to be with us. We want to answer to you, Marco, the next
Hey,
episode.
Pierre.
You can ask question even if you're not touching it, like my wife, Marco, about that one there. And then I want to finish with that one about the review game, Mr. Tap. St. Louis Blues guy is a strange season. Like, it's crazy because I said to you last night, I don't know if you watched the game, but they start the
Yeah.
game, guys, with they got a 2 minute at the beginning of the game. Do you know that?
Yeah, because they gave the wrong lineup. Or they started the wrong lineup
So
compared to
you
the
only
score
this
sheet.
guy, Mr. Natap and Junior. Like you only see this in
You're
Florida
right.
State hockey. Like you can see that, and I was pinching, and I got bitched a lot because I was watching always the lineup for other team. How about that? Well, what we said to you, Mr. Natap, I want to play with the head to under the coach or the player to under the team. We called the ref after the first whistle. I said, look the lineup. I think the 23 was there. I was just make it. It was nothing wrong there. I was just telling the ref, like, look, don't worry about this. I just want to piss off the coach right now. I'm going to get that game controlling after that. The referee was leaving right away. But the 30 second I would take, they was worried about this. And we called another linesman, everything like that. And then the coach was like, what the heck's going on there? I was just do exactly that, those important game. But more in Florida because nobody knows hockey with it anyway. Short story, like St. Louis Blues is just funny. Then they losing 3-1. Should be over
Hmm.
for this season. And they find a way, always when they are at the bottom or they think they are done for the year, they come back and they get that W. I don't know what be the impact of this at the end of the year, Mr. Natap. You can again, another way. They got a call. Everybody leave the building. The player or went out the shower, but they have to come back on the ice to play hockey. They should be done. No, the storm again. They all come
Absolutely.
back, they survive, and now they get that W again and shoot out. One, you're going to see Draisaitl and McDavid get a stop and shoot out, right? So at the end of the day, St. Louis, I don't know, it could be a turnover this season. I know they are behind. I know they are not looking good, but they're still alive. That's what I would. And it's just a strange season over there, like the Vancouver Canucks.
It is. It kind of reminds me of Dallas last year, where you couldn't tell from night to night whether they were going to win or lose. There was so much juxtaposition in terms of which team were you going to see on any given particular night. And the other thing that stood out yesterday too, Coach, in that overtime, that was just back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the play. O'Reilly deked out Skinner, and then he had an open net. And to this moment, I still don't know how he missed scoring in that overtime session. That could have really demoralized the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but Mr. WG says something good here, but I will explain more. But he said, I saw a video about it today. It looked like the big difference between possession and control is you're able to make a move by propelling the puck. The difference between this.
Right.
You're absolutely right when you said he's making moves because he's in control. But on possession, you still have the puck on your blade. That's what you have to see. Not much difference between
Exactly.
that. You cannot be and control if you don't have the puck and the possession about this. So it's similar. The only action is you stick and glean the puck compared to pushing the puck and possession. So I can be in possession of the puck and moving from one direction to another, only a pushing one hand's my puck, right? And when you're in control, it's more about the stick and glean the puck and you turn that. That would be the best way to describe that both way. But good point, Mr. WG. About this. Benito make a good save over there. Point contact de l'autre étage is controlling.
He did.
Saint-Louis Blues have NHL never go away. Yep, and NHL went back down and watched the video. McDavid is lost full control. McDavid did not get his skate. He went right over it. The Blues player knocked it back to McDavid. And then we have William asking me this question about the Florida Panthers. And then we have Joseph. Joseph Laham is in the house. I forgot to mention him because we started talking, Mr. ENORTAP. Sen, he said that they never lose 2 games. I think next week he's going to ask us, like, I think they never win 2 games. Back to back.
I don't know. I made him a promise that the streak was going to end last night, but unfortunately it didn't.
I don't know what's going on over there. I tried to get the William comments, and I apologize, William. He talked about the Florida Panthers when I left the Florida. The Florida is not looking good anymore. Oh, here we go. About that. Coach, what's up with the Florida Panthers? The Florida President Trophy, no player possibly. Is the coach friendship factor? Do you leave affect the team that much? I said, boy. Here's the problem, Mr. with the Florida Panthers. They all went in last season. All in. Like, they gave everything, all the asset, the first round pick, and they tried to go all the way, and they pay the price right now. It's another team right now, they cannot make a lot of trade, like many others, and that's the problem they got right now, Mr. Nathan.
Coach, what do you think of Barry Zito's comments yesterday when he pretty much doubled down and said, no, this is the team. This is the winning team right here. And he didn't really acknowledge that there's any kind of problems going on the team.
You always to take 50-50 every time when the GM or coach talk. And when I said that, he could not set up, we're missing a couple of pieces, everything like that. Not only we hear, he always thinking the perspective of the words of what he said. And I will set to you example. So he cannot say, no, we're in trouble. We don't have this. We're missing the piece. We turn that. The only we said, we have a good team right now. We're doing what? If we have a possibility to add someone, but we may be looking about that. But right now, we feel very comfortable about that team. We are look what the coach doing right now. The players doing well. We just maybe not lucky what we expect. On the flip side, we have to give credit. The analytic underlying number are unlucky team right now, the Panthers. They really dominate on front aspect of the, not said they're going to jump in where they are in the top, but they should be on the race closer what they are. Again, they come for 2 areas, the defenseman and the bad performance of Bobrovsky on the consistency night after night. And that's happening where they are right now with the Florida Panthers, Mr. Natap. That's the best description I gave it to you about that.
No, that's a good point.
Yep. NHL news, the Kings, Trevor Moore, 5-year contract, $4.2 million, undrafted, ex-player for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And when I said that, the Toronto Maple Leafs in the last couple of years, they lose a lot of good pieces of the puzzle at the bottom 6. I'm talking about Connor Brown. I think that's another player, like, I think they could take advantage of him right now. And then they lose another guy like Trevor Moore. It's another player I think they could have a good performance with that. Talk about Sean Durzi. I think Sean Durzi will be a good asset for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Of course, it's easy to talk that way after that. but it's another player for me, guys, where it's a good lesson for the player never been drafted or the player play on the second division college or not at the high but like Michigan or the Minnesota Gopher or the Boston Terriers. I think more represent exactly that kind of player. Never give up, keep continuing to perform. The guy show up missing a tap at 23 years old, at 27 years old, have a great year last season. My point is when we try to give up at the player at 21, 22, 23, that's you should not do that. Because when look, Nicholson, right? You never know. The player cannot develop the same way. Oh, you have 18, we have to take your time. 19, we have also, okay, 20, 21, no, he's not it would be a boss. You never know. Someone somehow work hard and you never know how he's going to respond in long term. So congratulations, Trevor Moore. I would like to hear from your comments about him.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think he hit pay dirt for himself. 5 years, 4.2 million. That's excellent. But I mean, this guy is a hard worker. I remember when he was with the Leafs as well. He was playing mostly on the fourth line, but he was very pesky. He was hard to play against. He would constantly skate. He was a good skater. He would do a lot of checking. Like he did the little things, and he did them well. And in the last 2 years now, he's also proving that he could put the puck in the net. So that's fantastic. I'm glad for the Kings. I'm glad for more.
Yeah, it's like Marco says, a little bit more expensive. He play at the second line right now. He complete
Yeah.
Dano and Adverson. So sometimes you get a little bit more money because you complete a specific line. He honestly a third line usually, but he play very well. He has 17 goals, 48 points on attack. Right now he's 18 point at 33 game. So it's about like another 48, 54. He's used on the PK. He helped on the he play a lot
Mhm.
of a little bit a copy of Philippe Dano as a winger, and that's what the reason you get that kind of money. A long term, I think is a good fit for them, and he brings some kind of utilities around that team. So I think it's a little bit expensive. You would like to have maybe 3.8, but on the flip side, Marco, they gave them 5-year contract, so they play longer term compared to short term and to pay a less price. I think that would be the best way I can describe this, Mr. Nota. Do you guys
Yeah,
realize
for
some of the
sure.
league players that they have won a sync up after that? W said that. Be careful, Vinny, or the mask will suspend your account. Yes, you are right. Must does not give a second chance to run with Kings about this one. Here we go. Talking about and news around the league, Emerson Atap. The NHL is thinking to increasing the game for 82 to 84 to 86 game. That's really
I don't know, Coach. It's all about money. I get that it's a business, and the two extra games. I'm assuming. Well, it's got to be one road, one
because right
home.
now it's
It's
unbalanced,
going to
right? You
bring
know that,
in
right?
some more revenue. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it depends what the ultimate plan is here. Are they moving towards probably more balanced playing between the two divisions in every
Rivalities. They're
conference,
looking for more for rivalities.
so
Like
that
with the Calgary and Edmonton, they play only 3 times this year.
right? Yeah. So that's the point. Like if it's to get a little bit more balanced schedule, then by all means, I think that's fine. I just still think I know a lot of people aren't liking the idea. Like they're very traditional and want to stick to 16 teams are in the playoffs, 8 and 8 obviously, but I still think there should be something like the NBA where you have a play-in round. It's not really a huge ask for the players. I think it keeps markets more interested, especially after trade deadline time when maybe, oh look, well, my team traded away half the players here I'm not going to start going watching any games, and that really turns off the market. It keeps the players more engaged, and really, what does it mean? It means an extra game, possibly two, if it's run like the NBA. It gives also a reward to the top team in each conference that they get a buy in right off the bat. I think they should look towards that, but it doesn't appear like they're in favor of doing any kind of change. One thing I would like to see, though, Coach, I'll be honest with you, instead of the current division setup, I think they should go back to you rank them 1 to 8 in each conference.
Well, the problem is
Travel
because
isn't a big issue
the
anymore.
problem is because they do that. They have to play 2 games for each team for the rest of the year. It will be not fair because now you're going to have
Yeah,
maybe 10, 12 team on the one conference versus the rest of the other conference.
no, well, that's fine. Like, I think if teams, I think what it precipitates is that there's a little bit more balanced schedule, right? So Montreal would play, let's say, Washington a little bit more often, and the teams in the Metro 1 game or 2 games more, and everybody in their own division once or twice less, just to balance it so that you're playing the same amount of games, and then rank them 1 to 8. I just think I like that format a little bit better. There's a little bit more randomness to it. So you're not always saying every year, well, it looks like it's Toronto against Tampa or Toronto against Florida. Or, I'd like to see a little bit more of a randomness to that playoff. And like I said, I don't think travel costs are a big issue anymore, especially if you're increasing the season games to 84. You can get the revenue from there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting how they're going to go that one. They would expand again in like 2-4 years. The people said no, this for what we heard, Marco, you have no expansion team for the long term. For what we heard, the game even increasing the game is not time. They're going to cut the exhibition game from 8-6 to 4-3, whatever it is, and then played more game about that. It'll be interesting how they're going to turn around. Let's just open up the door here before we don't bring Gilles Cordeau retire. First of all, Gilles Cordeau, born in my area, been working at the QM for many years. Cordeau show up as was hired by Bergy, Michel Bergeron. Michel Bergeron was called for the 12-year Travers. I was living in that area. I was between the Shawinigan and 12-year all the time. Anyhow, with Sorel, Pervier, and I can go all the way. But Gilles Cordeau, Cordeau got hired as a statisticien of the Travers by Michel Bergeron. That's how he opened up his adventure with the QM. And then after that, he got hired in 1935. Then he became a president interim in 1986 in the QM. And since that date, he's been the QM president of the QM for since that. And that league goes so much great expansion and everything like that. And he did an amazing, great job. So really, sad, it's not a sad day, but recognize him. And he leave with a good way because he will wait one more year to transition with a new commissioner. We talk about Stéphane Leroux. We talk about Jocelyn Thibault. Talk about Marc Denis, ex NHL player, possibility to get that job. Will be interesting. Both of them are involved together with different actionnaire or owners of different percentage of different team. It'll be interesting what will be the next one. But look. What a great achievement of the Gilles Cordeau as a commissioner for the QM for many years. And, the team and the way they play now the Maritime. And nobody was agree with him when he bring the team in the Maritime. And since that, the Maritime is all about the QM now. So I just want to share with him a little bit what he accomplished. Of course, when you are that level, Mr. Natap, a lot of people hate you. But at the end of the day, the inside of the small world, I call them always a small world. The owners, the coaches. Look, I'll just give you an idea, guys. Norman Flynn, in 1985, Norman Flynn was the coach, Mr. Natap, of the Saint-Lazare. and the QM. But that time, they cannot have a full time job. The coach and QM and the junior he was a postman. He had to work during the day, and then after that, he had to do the job as the coach. And he changed everything
Right.
like that. So those kind of from what he accomplished, he changed a lot the life of fun people on the the livelihood, everything,
Exactly.
family, everything like that, hiring more people and they grow. I think overall, it's not going to be perfect. Some situation maybe you should get better, but overall you have to give credit for what you accomplished as a commissioner or president.
Absolutely. That Yeah, definitely a pioneer, and as you said, he has changed the role and where it's gone over the years. So well deserved retirement.
Yeah, absolutely. About this, Eric Morrison is in the house. Welcome aboard. Said, I would love to see the best team play against the worst team in the NHL, the second best play against the second worst team. So on, Eric, that way they have good possibility play against the Bruins and leave in the final. About that one, then Rick Bengal expect the Ocean will be the next expansion in NHL. Possibility will be interesting about this. I know it's 47% of that. I
Okay.
push you hard on that one there. A couple of news here about the injury. New York Islanders Pelech ER, Winnipeg Schmidt on ER, and that's pretty much what we have, Mr. Natap. Activity players, Toronto bring back Jordy Ben and the Buffalo welcome back Ino Souza. That's pretty much
Very
it.
good.
We forgot, Mr. to bring Mr. Peter August on the body bus, and then going to do the transition of the
Ah,
on the gel, Mr. Natap. So let's welcome back
unbelievable.
Peter August and the party bus. At the warm up show, Mr. Natap, we make the people very happy about that one over there. And then last night, again, he's been there before. He dominate that leaderboard, and I'm talking about, of course, the Chicago 97 County Jail, Mr. Natap. And then I make something special for him today. Chicago back home, and so he's back home.
Hey,
I
his
think
coach, he takes the Blackhawks every single game. As
he
long as
never
that
gave up
happens,
on
that
Chicago
that
Blackhawks. We have to give
jails.
him for that one over
No,
there. Yeah,
no, I
absolutely.
admire that. I admire it, but he's going to be behind that jail quite a bit.
Yeah,
Those
absolutely
cages.
about this one over there. Then we have Austin Island is in the house. Thanks so much about this one over there. We appreciate Amanda point six still active. No, Austin, he lost yesterday. He did not have no point like the Toronto Maple Leaf lost yesterday. Center tap game number one of the night, the Chicago Blackhawks again in Minnesota Wild. So I'm sure he's going to take Chicago.
Oh, I'm sure he will. And like I said, he's loyal. That I'll give him that. Uh, the Hawks, they're going to travel a little bit north for one game road trip against their division rival here, the Minnesota Wild. Uh, the Hawks have really had some issues as of late. If you look at the standings now, they've dropped yet again when it looked like it was impossible with Anaheim in that position. They're trending. They're trending in a bad direction, and unfortunately, their reward, if you want to call it that, will be a very high pick in the draft this year and in the lottery. Not that the Wild need any more advantages in this game, but I think that we've seen an improved um, quality of hockey with Minnesota as of late. They're still scoring, which is good to see. They're starting to tighten up their defense a little bit more, even though there's work to be done in that regard. Um, I looked at two things at the end here. The Blackhawks now are 10-56 in their last 66 games versus a team that has a winning record. And the Wild, they're 73-32 in their last 105 games with a team that's below 500, or actually below 400. So in this case, it was pretty obvious. I'm going to take Minnesota here by a score of 5-1.
He just texted me. He said Chicago 1-4-2. We have the same score, Mr. Natap.
Empty net.
We have the same score,
5-1.
Mr. Natap.
Okay. Oh,
I think I'm going to stop to do empty net because they never go there. They go in overtime.
Yeah, or shootouts. Yeah,
that's happening about this game number 2, Mr. Natap. The Calgary versus the Blues.
Yeah, this to me is probably the most intriguing game of the night. Looks like it's Greece against. Last I checked, it was Markstrom that's going to be playing, which kind of surprised me because I thought they were going to go with Vladar.
Yeah.
But Markstrom played a very good game. The last one he was involved in, so maybe they just want to build on that confidence level. When you look at these two teams, they're both underperforming Western Conference teams that are colliding here tonight for the first time this season. They're two very good teams on paper, but we've seen that on the ice, this hasn't been matched. The Flames, they sit at 13, 11, and 6. And the Blues are currently at 14, 15, and 1. So they have very similar records. They're both in that fight right now for the wild card positions, with Calgary sitting slightly a little bit ahead of them. So when you put them together here, obviously somebody's going to come up with the 2 points. Probably to make it fitting, it'll go to overtime so that not much ground is gained on either one. But we'll see if that actually materializes. If you look at the teams right now, you see that on the one hand, you have the hotter hand in St. Louis, as they've gone 2-0-1 in their last 3 games, and they've come against pretty good opponents, like in the Oilers, the Predators, the Avalanche. This is, however, it's a back-to-back, and they had a really long night last night. It expended a lot of energy to get back in and tie that game yesterday. So I think when you look at the fact that the Blues are 0-4, and again, maybe this doesn't fit really, but I checked in the last 4 games, the Blues are 0-4 on Friday night games. The Flames are 5-1 in their last 6 games against Central Division teams, and they're also 6-2 in their last 8 games at home. So that leaned me to go with the Calgary Flames to win this one with an empty net goal by a score of 4-2.
Well, all right. I got it. I don't go empty net, Mr. Natap. I go in overtime.
Okay. So this time I went with the empty net. Okay.
I learn. I'm learning. I'm still learning.
And our last game of the night, the Coyotes remain, one of the worst teams in the NHL after, the tough start yet again this year. Outside of being at home in this game for this matchup, there isn't much really going for them. In fact, they barely had a home arena to play in this season. Hopefully they can stick to hockey and you don't get some of those wild brawls that were happening in the last time that they played there in the stands. They have a really good blue chip player in my. I know you're tired of hearing this, in Vejmelka. I think this guy is the real deal. When you look at some of his stats, he is in the top 5 in just about every category. This guy gets a minimum of 35 shots on net every single night. And he's making save after save that's just keeping the team in it, competitive. And really, this guy is the real deal in my eyes. I think he's going to really help Arizona. And if they're looking to trade him, they're going to have a good return on this guy. The Islanders, they've been playing some very good hockey in my eyes. They've run into some injury problems as of late. We saw earlier today that Pelech is out again. That doesn't help their defensive core. They will look at this actually as a revenge game for the Islanders. They let their guard down and sort of played down to their competition when Arizona upset them earlier this year. So I'm sure that that's not going to happen again. It looks like it's Sorokin against Vejmelka. So I don't anticipate a high-scoring game here, especially with their styles. I'm going to go with the Islanders to win by a score of 4-2.
4-2. All right. I go with the final score, Mr. NORTAP, on overtime, 4-3.
Okay. There we go.
Check about this 2 empty net tonight. What happened?
Or 2 overtimes.
Now, but I'm always wrong. So usually I put always empty net. Now they go in overtime. Now tonight I go into overtime. They go always an empty net. It will be interesting about that one over there. But a lot of things happening there tonight at the Hockey Nation Live Show. I'm going to be back at 9 o'clock, Mr. PM. Mr. PM. Mr. NORTAP at 9 p.m. We're going to talk about Montreal Canadiens and what's going on with the team. And then we'll talk about some news around the league. I don't know if Michael Devenot is going to ask from Marco, but a lot of subjects to talk about for about 90 minutes. And Mr. NORTAP, tonight we announce the first holidays French quiz, Mr. NORTAP, the formula, and maybe we're going to starting to play tonight. It will be interesting. I'm still working on it, Mr. NORTAP, but the formula is really different. First of all, we want to thank Danny T. Just show up a couple of minutes ago. I apologize, I didn't mention him about that. But Mr. NORTAP, Jeopardy French quiz for the next week until the final about this one over there. So it will be really interesting to see that 3 participants. And then we have a wild card in the French quiz. So you can use your wild card if you need it. About that, if you need, it's like call your friend, right? You don't know who is a wild card, but it'll be fun to see that. So in the new formula, it's not only it's going to be about only hockey. So sport in general, it could be mascot, it could be hockey, it could be about specific players, everything like that. Curling, bowling. Maybe we can call a slide to about the bowling. But it would be interesting, Mr. NORTAP. It would be fun. I think it will be a new concept until the holidays.
For sure.
So it will be from
we'll try it out. We'll
tweak at that moment.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
The people in the
exciting.
chat, Mr. NORTAP, they can participate, but they cannot. On that night, we talk about the people join me live, but that's what the people play. And it's going to be maybe a round robin, or it could be you move up for the quarterfinal, the 16, the quarterfinal, and the semifinal to the final.
Sounds good. Looking forward
good to me. We have a few people pop up at the last minute, Mr. NORTAP. Luciano pop up. Thanks so much. Luciano said, I'm going to go 3-0 tonight. And then he said, NORTAP look good in blue. Danny Kitchener Rangers got Francisco Arcuri from the Kitchener Rangers. All right. Yamamoto Kamashimoto, he said Mr. NORTAP about that. So it'll be interesting to follow everything tonight. 3 games on the program, 9 o'clock p.m. And Mr. NORTAP, maybe not tonight, but what are you looking for this weekend? Any specific thing, or you have anything you want to looking for before we get out here, Mr. NORTAP?
Well, I think the big night is Saturday. We have a number of games. I think it's either 12 or 13 games going that night as well. There's a couple key games like Winnipeg and Vancouver that are going head to head. The Islanders in Vegas as well. The Leafs are playing Washington, so that should be an interesting matchup. But the one that really has me intrigued is Dallas and Carolina. I think that these are two teams that play similar style, although Dallas has more offensive explosiveness. So we'll see if Carolina can sort of contain them a little bit. And if they do, it works in their favor, of course. So we'll see where that goes. And our Montreal Canadiens are taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Not a good position to be in because Tampa Bay has been very hot lately.
Yeah, absolutely. I will
Especially
give you more
Brandon.
game, Mr. Tap. Sunday, Pittsburgh, Carolina.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, the Jet play Kraken. And then if you want to go a little bit lower, Detroit play Ottawa.
Yeah, that's interesting because we're seeing an improvement in Ottawa, although
Yeah.
a lot of the teams that they're beating lately
Yeah.
are still not top-notch teams. So we'll see how they fare against some of the stronger teams in the NHL.
Yeah, absolutely. KLS just mentioned this right now. He said, look, tomorrow, 1 o'clock, they play. Will be a good game to watch for me. I'm going to talk more about Montreal a bit later, but that's happening about this. Carolina are a good in defense for Denis Rodrigue. Thank you, Danny, to be with us tonight. Don't forget, guys, we're leaving the building. We leave, of course, leave us a comment. We'll be back Monday, Mr. Natap, for another warm-up show. And we're going to go all the way to the end of the until we hit Christmas next week, and then continue during the holidays, of course. Good news, Mr. Natap. KLS gave us an update, right? Breaking news. Jacob Vrana on the ice at the practice today.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
That would be a definite plus for Detroit. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to go that way, Mr. Natap, because you're so good about your prediction tonight. You do a very good job about that one.
I think we all had teams tonight.
But I want to, and you left the building, but you took the lead by 5 points, Mr. Natap, again, Marco, on your fantasy hockey.
A long way to go still, Coach. Long way. I hope my mistakes don't come back to bite me.
I don't know who is do you know who is Vatican City?
No, I'm not sure.
I don't know. We have the same record, 4-5, so we're not good, both of us. But I'm destroying him right now, 40 points, because the Blues looking good. That's the reason behind that. You know what's funny, Mr. Natap? I just realized last week I don't have Robert Thomas on my team.
You have Kyrou, don't you?
Yeah, but I thought I was Thomas in the beginning of the season. No.
No.
I may be other fantasy hockey, but it was funny because where's Thomas on my team now? And no, he's not with me anymore. So I don't know. Something happening.
Maybe you traded him to Danny.
We'll be interesting. We'll see you at 9 o'clock. So we wish you an amazing, great dinner with your wife or your family. And I can wait until the next time. But before we leave, we want everybody to remind everyone, you are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you. Talking about greatness, Mr. Natap, we miss RJ Calabro tonight. We didn't see RJ. Hopefully he's doing well. Maybe see him a little bit later. Until next time, be well, be healthy. Find a way not only dominate your day, but find a way to dominate the second half of your what?
2022.
Have an amazing, great weekend, everybody. Mr. Natap, a pleasure having you aboard. I can wait to see you a little bit later. Have a great night, everybody.
All right. Good night. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thanks so much.